here we go, folks. We are speaking with the one and only Hans Ziller and Ronnie Parks of the band Bonfire. The new album is called Roots, and of course, as we say in Montreal, bonjour, gentlemen. How are you?
Hello, how are you?
Good.
Hi, Mitch.
Yeah, always a pleasure, Hans. And Hans, I will always start by saying this. In 2013, when my wife's father passed away from cancer and we put a Kiss tribute together, you were the first one to come out and say, I'm going to donate this song, Sword and Stone. Ended up raising $35,000 for the cancer home, the palliative care home. So I'll always start with a big thank you for that. So merci beaucoup. Thank you. That's what rock and roll is. It's people helping out each other.
It's a big pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, and of course that's one of the greatest songs. But you know what? I'm almost going to ask you about Fistful of Fire as well, because, and I want to get to Roots in a second, but you have this song on Fistful of Fire called Rock and Roll Survivors. The video comes out, and it really sort of, to me, it talks about the band because you've been around for so long. And you've survived. You survived lineup changes. You survived radio changes, changes in what the people buy, from Nirvana to Def Leppard to whatever. And you are rock and roll survivors. And here you are. You put out this album in 2020, and you haven't played a single show since it came out.
So that's a drag.
I know. So let's talk about that. I mean, let's talk about the fact, and then I'll get to Roots, because Roots is a great album. But let me just talk about the fact that you put out an album, and you normally go out and promote it by playing shows, and you haven't been able to. Was that frustrating for you? Was that difficult for you? Or when it does open up, you're just going to go out and promote 2 albums at once and say, the hell with it?
I was almost dying, because for me, this was a very great album. And we had a new drummer, Andre Hilgers, and this album is like, it powers on like hell. And then this fucking virus comes, and everything stops. And I think right now we postponed the tour, Fistful of Fire tour, the 3rd time. And it's even not sure if we can play it later in the year. Ronnie, what would you say?
Yeah, I mean, well, that kind of also was part of our plan. When we did the acoustic album, when we were just ready to go on tour, and all of a sudden everything has just stopped. So we didn't know whether we were going to postpone dates or redo dates, and we were holding on, praying that we were just going to be after April, after the 2 weeks, everybody's going to go back to normal. It'll be great, And then that didn't happen. So we always had this idea of doing the acoustic, because we did a bunch of acoustic shows. So we really kind of wanted to do like an acoustic album and maybe do a tour in the future. So when this happened, we're like, okay, so now what do we do? And that just came out as the idea, like, let's do this acoustic album that we were talking about. And then we could also tour this album. So it's kind of like doubling down, so now when we go back out on tour, we can actually tour 2 different types of tours at the same time. So that should be pretty cool.
Well, and in fact, you can even do some kind of evening with, where you come out and you do, 10 or 15 songs, or maybe not, that's maybe too much, but maybe 10 songs acoustic, and, go towel off, come back half an hour later, and then do, all right, come on, folks, rock and roll survivors and more.
Yeah.
Which could be kind of cool. In terms of the acoustic album, though, talk to me about the genesis of that, because the album's called Roots. It's got 24 songs on it. It is called Almost Acoustic, right? Yeah. Talk to me about giving them that treatment and stripping it down.
Yeah, well, the idea was, when I was sitting down in my studio, and we decided to record everybody at home, because we weren't allowed to go to the studio as a band, and everybody recorded at home, and I was playing these acoustic guitars. And after 1 week, it was so boring for me, always this only acoustic and no and so I had the idea, why don't bring in some clean e-guitars, electric guitars? And then I had the idea, why don't bring in all my heroes? So where they brought me to music like Jimi Hendrix, Eric Clapton, all those guys. So I picked up my Fender Stratocaster and doubled all the acoustic guitars with this clean electric guitar. And then I tried to put in famous solos like Layla from Eric Clapton or Purple Haze from Jimi Hendrix, but on the Bonfire songs. So it wasn't allowed to change the chords of the songs. So it was only, otherwise they sue you. So you can make, it's allowed to make quotes, like in a book, you can take quotes. And so we did it on 23 songs. You Make Me Feel, I think it's so famous, this song for Bonfire, it was not necessary to quote it. But all the others, we did it. And then I called Frank Pani and said, hey, Frank, I have a great idea. Double all your acoustic guitars with an e-guitar, clean sound. And so I think it went great. And then we did a competition, which is on the booklet of the CD and LP, that the people can guess how many quotes are on the album, and they can win great prizes. Ronnie, perhaps you can say something about the prizes.
Yeah, I mean, actually, the whole idea was really cool, I thought, because he came up with this idea, and then it was like, well, okay, but also it has to be in the same key, and you can't change the chords, but it has to be in the original key of the song. So you can pick out any song you want, and everybody can just pick something and do this little lick here and there. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't really hear what you're talking about, so God, you do it, and Hans went crazy and did it, and I couldn't believe it when I started to hear it, because sometimes it sounds like it's actually part of our song. It's really strange. It's weird, and it's not like a full quote, but you go, oh, wait a second, what was that? I know that riff somewhere. What was that? And like just when we did the first song, we did this competition and we announced that, and some people heard Led Zeppelin right away, and it's like, yeah, it came out really cool because it doesn't really change it. And it doesn't, if we took those parts out, it doesn't change the song, So it's like just a little nod to the song. But yeah, the prizes were going to be that we have a dinner for whoever can guess the most. They're going to have a dinner with us in Ingolstadt. Of course, I don't think it could be somebody from the United States that wins.
No, you'll have to go have dinner in Florida. That's the only place that's open in the States. Oh my God.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it was pretty cool, and we a lot of this was funded. The funny thing about,
by the way, when they have dinner, do they pay or do you pay? I'm just curious.
We pay.
Okay.
And there's
that would be a great prize. You're having dinner with the band. Oh, and here's the bill.
Yeah. And you are buying.
And you're buying. By the way, let me get into the vocalist real quick here. You have Alexx Stahl on this. If you listen to the last album, The Fistful, it's great voice. I mean, just a great album. And by the way, I don't know why we didn't do an interview for the last album. We should have, but I guess with COVID, everybody sort of got, what are we doing?
Yeah, everybody went, poof.
Yeah, well, I know I went foofer. I was like, oh, what are we doing now? But talk to me about what he brings, because you have gone through different vocalists, and you think of some of the bands over the years, whether it's Aerosmith or Cheap Trick or Kiss, the vocal and that sound is very identifiable. What were you looking for in Alexx? Because he wasn't really meant to be the choice in a sense, and then he ended up being the choice, and a good choice. Just quickly talk to me about him and his vocals.
That's a Hans question, because basically what happened was, I mean, the whole story about we were supposed to have someone else first.
Yeah, and he could make it.
And he couldn't do it, and we had Alexx. So we were all kind of planned. And then once we did those shows with Alexx, he just fit so perfect that we're like, how can we not stay with Alexx? We have to stay with Alexx, And Hans just made the decision and did it. He said, that's it. Okay, Alexx is the guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's Alexx the curious thing was that I looked for a singer, and I had no clue who can I ask. And then I go, really, it's true, I go in Facebook and looked through all pictures of my 5,000 friends who looks like a singer.
By the way, I noticed that you didn't pick me, and I'm on your Facebook list. But I don't sing, so that's fine.
And then I saw Alexx. He had a photo with a microphone, and I contacted him. So, and I thought, for me, if he sings half that good as he looks, he's perfect. And I mean, say it like that, to replace Klaus Lessmann in Bonfire is always not easy. Everybody wants to hear Klaus Lessmann because he's the original singer. So I thought, for me, I only wanna have a singer which is a nice guy. He's a team player, and the voice should be his voice. He shouldn't copy Klaus Lessmann, or that's. I always say to Alexx, be like you, be you, and sing as you sing. And I think right now the people, even the diehard Bonfire fans, accepted him now. So only a few people are sometimes writing, where is Klaus Lessmann, and why is he not in the band? And sometimes I answer them and say, hey, what shall I do if the singer quits the band? Shall I quit music, or what shall I do? I have to go on. And so Alexx is for us a perfect singer. He's a nice guy. There is no let's say
drama.
Complicated things.
Yeah, there's not much drama. Yeah,
not much drama. Right now we have a little drama because of COVID and Trump, but he has his own thinking, and I have my own thinking. But I think this has nothing to do with music. But yeah, I think he on every album he's getting better, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's about Alexx.
Let me just ask you about that, because you said that, because the singer quits, should you quit music? And obviously not. I've always figured that when you work very hard, as you have for 30 plus years, to establish a brand, not just a band, but a brand, you should have the right to keep going.
Yeah.
Other fans are like, the hell with that. You need to change the name and call it something else. I don't believe that. I think that your hard work is your hard work, and you should be able to reap the rewards. But let me ask you, why not change it? Why haven't you gone to Easy Living? Why haven't you gone to the Ziller, the band, or a solo artist? Why have you kept Bonfire, other than the fact that it's a great brand? But why not do something different?
I don't want to sound arrogant, but I founded this band in 1972. It has a different name, Kakumen. And Klaus Lessmann comes to the band 1979, 8 years later. And I always was the motor of the band. And I mean, no, for me, Bonfire is my baby. I think it's my life, I would say. And I never would quit it. So, I mean, Klaus Lessmann couldn't sing anymore in 2015. He had very bad problems with his voice, and he said, I quit. This is my last tour. And then in November 2014, we played the last show. And then I was without a singer. That's it. So at that time, I asked the guys from Easy Living if they want to do Bonfire with me, because the whole band at that time was totally divorced. So there was no band feeling anymore. And So yeah, so then we got Frank Panet as the second guitar player, and then we moved on. Actually, the Easy Living lineup plus Frank Panet, we moved on with the name Bonfire.
Mm.
So that for me was the easiest way to, because I want to go out, I want to play. I don't want to make 2 shows and 5 day offs because the singer cannot sing. That's not what I want to do. I mean, if a soccer player cannot play soccer anymore, he has to quit. And that, I mean, it's a hard decision, but I see Bonfire actually as a club like Bayern Munich or Los Angeles Lakers or whatever. It will, and I'm the, let's say, the old
Coach.
The old guard. No, but you know,
The
it's
old
funny
coach.
because when I have these discussions with fans of bands, I'll say to them, it's like the New York Yankees. Just because Babe Ruth isn't there, are they supposed to change their name and change their uniform? And they go, well, no, of course not. It's the Yankees. I go, well, what's the difference?
Yeah.
They go, oh, well, no, I go, no, it's not different. A brand is a brand. And
Yeah.
people have expectations. When Bonfire comes to a club or to a festival, they have an expectation. And Hans, to your credit, you have lived up to that expectation. You have delivered rock music at the same high level, regardless of the singer, regardless of who's in the band. Congratulations to you. Because listen, Fistful of Fire in 2020 was a great album, and it needs to be talked about now so that people will go back and check it out if they missed it because of COVID.
Yeah.
Same with Roots, by the way.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Hopefully people don't miss Fistful of Fire, because it really was a good album, and it's really a nice succession of when we did Byte the Bullet and Temple of Lies. So now we're really getting it together now, and we're really starting to move, and bam. Shut down.
Yeah, I mean, it's when you let's go back to this club thing, to this Los Angeles Lakers or whatever. Bonfire never had a lineup which lasts longer than 2 years. That's like it is. I mean, Don't Touch the Light had a different lineup than Fireworks. Fireworks had a different lineup than Point Blank. Point Blank had a different lineup than Knockout. So, and then I moved on only with Klaus Lessmann as Lessmann Ziller, and then we put a band together for Rebel Soul. So nobody can say that I'm a tyrant who cannot work with people, you know.
It's all Hans's fault. Yeah, I was going to ask you, why are you so difficult to work with, honestly? Ralph, would you like to address that?
When you look at Michael Schenker, he always has different singers, but the sound is always the same. The music is always the same. The same as Richie Blackmore. Either if it's Rainbow or Deep Purple. I think it's not. Most of the people think that the singer is the shield, the outside shield for everybody. So
yeah, and the thing that always gets me is there's so many bands that if you think about, if they never gave the band a chance, like Iron Maiden, for example, you know, if you said, okay, well, it's not Paul Di'Anno singing anymore, I'm not going to listen to Iron Maiden anymore. Okay, see ya. You know, so I mean, what do you do? Yeah, it's part of the music. He's still making the music. It's still the band. So sometimes you're right. I don't understand why people can't see past that.
It's so bizarre. And by the way, I just realized I said Ralph instead of Ronnie. Apologies for that.
No
but
worries.
yeah, it's so in terms of Roots now, it comes out, and what are we doing? Do we do a live stream? Do we just wait until stuff opens?
Yeah, actually, that's what we were gonna do. We were gonna do a live stream concert, but due to the traveling, you know, we decided that it's just not going to be possible, because we really had to prove that, you know, there's no doubt that this can't be rescheduled. It must continue because there's people's lives at stake. You know, I'm not a doctor, so so to fly to Germany, and also we had Alessandro Del Vecchio. He
From
was part of
Frontiers.
yeah, so he was part of the. He did backgrounds, and so he was going to come also and do the live stream. And also Frank's wife Lydia, she did some duets on the album, so she was also going to be there, keyboardist.
Hold
so we
on
had
a
the
second.
big plan.
So Alessandro worked on this then?
Well, he did the background vocals, yeah.
No, I don't see that anywhere in the press release, and I'm friends with him. So did he produce it at all? Because
No.
I mean, he's got chops, man. He's
Yeah,
one of the
he's great.
greatest. He's a good guy.
Alessandro's great. We've been working with him for actually since Glorious. Since the Glorious album in 2015, we've been working with Alessandro, and I think he did produce Glorious, right? Was he the producer, Hans?
He did record it and mix it.
He was the engineer. Yeah.
Mixing.
Yeah, and so now since then we still use Alessandro as backing vocals, so he does backing vocals for us on the records.
It's funny because I just punched up the pages for that, and I don't see him anywhere. Well, I'm gonna have to give him a note because I know he does everything for Frontiers.
Yeah,
it's nice to see that he's doing stuff with you guys and AFM Records. Well, good for him.
He is big on the booklet, on the LP, on the cover, but perhaps you don't have it right now.
No, they sent me an MP3 download of the album,
Okay.
but at some point, yeah, if somebody wants to send me the physical, I'm a physical guy. I mean, speaking of Schenker, I got my Schenker right here. I like I like my physical. I like my physical stuff. So okay, so there's no live stream possible. So then, is it just we're going to do interviews until things open up, kind of stuff, or you try to get it to German radio? I mean,
we are planning now for the 26th of February, the release day, live stream party.
Yeah.
All right.
So we invite all our fans. They should take champagne or whatever they have, and then we give a toast on the new album. And the next thing is we have this year 35th anniversary with Bonfire. So this is also a thing to celebrate. So on this 26th of February, everybody is
welcome. Welcome to come.
Yeah, welcome to come and say hello. Now, in terms of the 35th anniversary, I'll ask you, Hans, and we sort of touched upon it in the interview, but what has kept you going? With all the lineup changes, with COVID, why at some point have you just not said, I'm out? I'm just forget it. I'm just going to stay home and write books. Like, what has kept you motivated to keep making the music?
I don't know. It's like a fever. It's like I have to go on.
You got the fever, Hans. You got the fever.
It's my life. That's what I always say to my wife also, and I cannot stop. I mean, I think to die on stage with the guitar in my hand, it would be the best.
Really?
Right.
I'm always afraid of that, actually. I'm afraid that one day I'm going to die on stage.
You are afraid that you have to carry me out?
Yeah, who's going to carry you? That's the problem.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the problem. But hey, listen, there are some folks out there, whether it's B.B. King or Chuck Berry or whatever, they just kept going and going, because when you love this stuff, why would you want to stop doing what you love?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, some ways I think you do have to change it a little bit, because once you're 70 or 80 years old, you can't still dress like you did when you were 20.
Alice Cooper doesn't want to agree with you.
Yeah, he's a little bit like the only person that can get away with it, though.
Elton John doesn't agree with you. Come on. But I don't know. I think you just keep going until there's nothing left. In terms of radio and stuff, I'm in Canada, so I don't know what's going on in Germany. But does Bonfire get on the radio in Germany? Does the media there support you, or has it always been a struggle?
Radio is pretty good. We are here in Bavaria. We have the Bayern 1, that's the biggest radio station, and they play us. Rock Antenne, they play us. So it's not that bad, and I think that the new album Roots is made for radio, I think, because it's not so hard, and it's so people can just listen to it while they are what's bügeln?
Driving around?
No, the iron.
Oh,
ironing while they're ironing. Yeah.
Ironing. American nights.
Yeah, that's the caption. Music to iron by.
Yeah.
By Bonfire. Buy it now. But by the way, you were talking just quickly about American Nights. I mean, I listened to the whole album before the interview, and that version of American Nights. I mean, that song just, man, you can put violins, you can put dance beat. It just, the core of that song is just always fantastic. It's just a great song.
Yeah,
you know?
the chorus is huge.
Yeah, and you know, I've heard different treatments of that version of that song, you know, and whether it's live or Pearls and it's just great. And it doesn't matter who the vocalist is. A good song is a good song is a good song, and it just keeps getting better. There you go, folks. I'll remind everybody that February 26th, 2021, Bonfire Roots, they call it the Almost acoustic album, will be out. Do make sure you pick it up. It is on AFM Records. Gentlemen, merci. Absolute pleasure, as always.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And as always, thank you for the Sword and Stone from 2013. Meant a great deal to the family. So, merci.
You are very welcome.
Thank you, gentlemen. We will
you.
do this soon. Cheers.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, perfect. That's good. All right, let me hit.